let's just jump right into this explainer because honestly, what we're going to cover today might literally change how you view your entire life. Okay, picture this. It's 9 p.m. in a standard corporate IT office. Meet Amit. He's 26 years old, he's pulling in a very respectable 12 lakhs a year, and he has been sitting at that exact same desk since 9 a.m. That's a 14-hour shift. Now, on paper, Amit's life is perfectly set, right? He's got those proud to announce LinkedIn posts, his parents are absolutely thrilled, and his friends genuinely think he's living the dream. But as he sits there, staring blankly at a massive Excel sheet while half watching some travel vlogger on his phone, he feels completely dead inside. There's just this deep, overwhelming numbness. He's trapped. And the harsh reality here, Amit is absolutely not alone. Millions of us are caught in this exact same cycle. You know, this daily numbness, waking up, sitting in awful traffic, mindlessly playing games on the metro, living purely for the weekend only to have Monday morning hit you like a freight train, it's a tragedy. And it perfectly captures something the legendary poet Posh once wrote. He said that the most dangerous thing in life isn't the physical hardships we face. No, the most dangerous thing is being filled with a dead silence. It's just going to work, coming back home, and enduring the tragic, quiet death of our dreams. So if you're listening to this and feeling that exact same way, take a deep breath, because your feelings are incredibly valid. Just look at the data. In a massive 2024 workplace survey conducted by Gallup, this covered more than 160 countries, by the way. The numbers for South Asia are honestly staggering. Only 21% of workers are actually engaged in their jobs. Think about that. That means 8 out of 10 people waking up tomorrow morning are heading to a place where their heart just isn't in it. They make up the 79% who are either quietly quitting or actively disengaged. But here is the real kicker. That 21% who are engaged, they aren't just happier people. They're actually 18% more productive, and they drive 23% more profit for their companies. So the question we need to ask isn't whether following a fulfilling path is some kind of luxury. The real question is, how much is ignoring it actually costing you? Now, what's fascinating is how all of this completely shatters that terrible, cliché advice we've all heard a million times. Just follow your passion. Amit watched tons of those motivational videos, but trying to look inside himself just left him feeling more confused. And thanks to a landmark 2018 study from Stanford University, along with the work of author Cal Newport, we finally know why. People like Amit are stuck in what's called a fixed mindset. This is the total myth that passion is some hidden treasure buried deep inside you and you just have to go dig it up. But the reality requires a growth mindset. Passion is not a treasure you find, it's a plant you grow. You actually have to develop skills, gain some autonomy, and then, only then, does the passion follow. Section 1, the exposure problem. Why you feel lost. Let's dig into the massive systemic reason why finding this so-called passion feels practically impossible for most of us. Because if you don't know what you love doing, let me be clear, it is absolutely not your fault. Think about it. The system we all grew up in exposes the average student to, maybe 10 or 15 standard careers. You know the list. Engineer, doctor, lawyer, CA, teacher, maybe a government job. How on earth are you supposed to dream of being an ornithologist or a marine archaeologist if your school never even told you those fields existed? We're forced to pick from a menu of 15 options, completely blind to the fact that there are literally over 12,000 recognized career categories globally. You don't suffer from a lack of interest, you suffer from a severe lack of exposure. And this whole systemic flaw actually points us right to an incredible concept from researcher David Epstein in his book Range. He spent years studying world-class performers across all fields, and what he found was wild. The most successful people rarely specialized early on. Instead, they had this dedicated sampling period. Think of someone like tennis legend Roger Federer or cricket icon MS Dhoni. They were playing football, basketball, badminton, sampling everything way before they finally specialized. Epstein proved that while early specializers might look like they're winning in the short term, it's actually the late specializers, the ones who freely explore and sample different worlds early on, who truly dominate in the long run. Section 2. The EMI cage and hustle culture. So you might be thinking, well, why don't people just leave those jobs they hate and go sample the world? Well, because the system actively locks them in. Let's map out exactly how this trap snaps shut. This is Amit's timeline, and frankly, it's the timeline for millions of us. At just 16 years old, his parents dropped 3 to 4 lakhs on IIT coaching, instantly setting up this massive, crushing pressure to succeed. By the time he was 22 and handed his engineering degree, he was already sitting on a 10 lakh education loan. His very first job, it only paid 25,000 rupees a month. Fast forward to 26, and just to keep up with the FOMO, the fear of missing out on the trips and the lifestyle his peers were posting about, he bought a flashy bike on EMI and then quickly got locked into a 20-year home loan. Every single problem requires a purchase, and every purchase adds an EMI. When half of your paycheck is instantly swallowed by the bank, you literally can't escape your toxic 70-hour hustle culture job. You are trapped in a golden cage. And the physical toll this cage takes? It's terrifying. One Monday night, straight after a brutal 14-hour shift, Amit woke up at 3 a.m. His chest was incredibly tight, he couldn't catch his breath, and his hands were shaking violently. He was rushed to the ER for an ECG. The doctor's verdict? It wasn't a heart attack at all. It was a massive panic attack brought on by severe chronic stress. But when the doctor casually told him he just needed to reduce his stress, Amit's immediate panic-stricken thought was simply, how? If I quit to lower my stress, who's going to pay the EMI? Section 3. The Science of Flow. Finding your zone. Fortunately, there is a real, proven antidote to this nightmare, and it's rooted in a fascinating psychological framework. To figure a way out, you first have to understand the flow state. This is a concept introduced back in 1990 by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Flow is basically when your mind and body are 100% dialed in to a perfectly challenging task. You totally lose track of time, you forget you're hungry, you completely ignore your phone. Take Neha, for example. She's a 34-year-old mother of 2 who got married quite early. She always loved baking and one day decided to try selling a cake. Her first few orders, total disasters. Customers complained, her husband mocked the idea, and she was so close to quitting, which, let's be honest, is exactly where 80% of people throw in the towel. But she decided to try just one more time, and as she baked that next cake, she got so deeply immersed in the process that she lost all track of time. She had found her flow. And the absolute crucial takeaway here is a massive 500% increase. Science shows us that when you are operating in a true flow state, you can be up to 500% more productive. That is insane. By harnessing that exact state, Neha was able to push right through those initial harsh failures and the lack of support. Fast forward just 14 months, and she had built a fully functional cloud kitchen, officially registered on Zomato and Swiggy, running right out of her home oven in Jaipur with literally zero initial investment. Section 4. The 3E Career Formula. Actionable steps. So how do you practically unlock this flow state for yourself? Let's break down a highly actionable, totally science-backed solution. It's called the 3E Formula. Step 1. Explore. For the next 30 days, commit to spending just 30 minutes a day exploring different careers from that massive global pool of 12,000 we talked about earlier. Step 2. Engage. Pick a few that spark your interest and actually get your hands dirty with real-world projects. Seriously, if you think you want to be a wedding photographer, go offer to shoot a local wedding for free just to test it out. And finally, step 3, excel. Once you find that thing that excites you, you have to be willing to grind through the hard parts to truly master your skills. Now, if you're looking at that engage step and immediately thinking, I don't have the time for that, author Josh Kaufman has a brilliant rule you need to hear. He found that it only takes 20 hours to get reasonably good at a brand new skill. Think about that math. That's just 45 minutes a day for a single month. Amit actually applied this exact rule. Right after his panic attack, he remembered how much he loved wood carving as a kid. So he started doing it again, just 45 minutes a day. By the 3rd week, he was happily carving from 9 to 11 p.m. every night, completely tuning out the people who kept telling him he should be spending his evenings learning to code instead. He gave it 20 solid hours, and it completely rewired his brain. And this leads us perfectly into the Excel step, which relies on Angela Duckworth's famous concept of grit. She defines grit as passion combined with long-term perseverance. Her massive studies on West Point military cadets and national spelling bee champions prove something we all need to remember. Deliberate practice and pure grit will beat raw talent and high IQ every single time. Grit isn't a genetic trait you're just born with. Just like passion, it's something you actively build during that crucial 6-month period when the initial shiny excitement fades away and the real hard work actually begins. Section 5. Building your Ikigai.
A reason to wake up.
Let's tie all of this modern science into a beautiful, ancient philosophy that structures this perfectly. Over in Okinawa, Japan, people are regularly living well past 100. Heart attacks are surprisingly rare. And get this, they don't even have a word for retirement in their language. Why? Because they have deeply cultivated their ikigai, which simply means the reason for waking up in the morning. Ikigai is supported by 4 pillars. It's what you love, what you are actually good at, what the world needs, and what you can eventually get paid for. But here is the massive secret most people miss. Ikigai is not some magic puzzle you solve on day one. It is carefully built over time. Amit built his. After months of making 0 sales and his wife definitely losing her patience, an NRI somehow stumbled across his Instagram page. Amit made his very first woodcarving sale for $47. He found his ikigai, and you know what? Those 3 a.m. panic attacks completely vanished. Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking right now. Well, that's great for them, but it's too late for me. I'm just too old to start over. Let's permanently destroy that excuse right now. 39 years old. That is the actual global average age for a major career change. Neha didn't even start baking until she was 34. You are absolutely not too late. In fact, research firmly proves that changing your career at literally any age to align with your passions makes you vastly more satisfied with your entire life. And the best part, you don't even have to dramatically quit your day job to get started. A really fascinating study out of San Francisco University proved that having a dedicated side passion project actually improves your performance at your primary job. It actively reduces your burnout, it sharpens your problem-solving skills, and it gives you a massive boost in creativity. It really isn't an either-or situation. Amit still works his IT job, but he now has a $30 a month side income, a genuine creative outlet, and most importantly, a future exit strategy. His passion project is what saved him from the cage. So we finally arrive at the ultimate question. Statistics say that 85% of people will just surrender to the system. They're going to wake up to that exact same alarm tomorrow, go back to that exact same numbness, and let their dreams just slowly, quietly die inside that EMI cage. But you know the science now. You know that it only takes 45 minutes a day for a single month to completely shift the trajectory of your life. So, will you let your dreams die in the cage? Or will you dedicate just 20 hours to start building something completely new? The choice is entirely yours.